Yo, what is good, Ninja? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to the News Essence. Today we have a lot of information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So Splatoon 2 has crossed 2 million units sold in Japan, and the Nintendo Switch itself is over 3.7 million units according to the latest Famitsu sales tracking chart. So this is just Japan alone, and that is a big feat because there are not a lot of console games in Japan that have crossed 2 million units at this point or recently. So it's good to see Splatoon 2 doing so well, and I think that this franchise hasn't even reached its full potential. I think it's in like the second stage of Cell at this point, imperfect Cell. It's not at perfect Cell yet because I do feel that this franchise has so much more it can do. There's a lot of things that they can add into it in order to make it a better experience. And I think that gamers have really gravitated towards the franchise of Splatoon because it does something different, and also because it's just absolutely fun. I mean, obviously there's the fun factor and everything, but I do feel that Nintendo isn't done yet, and a Splatoon 3 can add in so many different things in order to make the franchise better. But at the same time, that's not to take away from what Splatoon 2 is doing. The free content updates, the Splatfest, all the different stuff that they're adding, and all for free, has been absolutely amazing. Since 2015, when the franchise started on the Wii U, it obviously didn't reach what it could have done sales-wise because the Wii U just wasn't there. But when the Nintendo Switch version came out very early in the life of the Nintendo Switch, it was great to see the franchise enjoy such success. The game is nearly at 5 million units sold worldwide when it comes to just total sales, and that is amazing to see, especially for a newish type of franchise. It was just 2015 that this game or this franchise actually launched. So it's great to see Nintendo have success with the newer IP outside of like Mario or Zelda or Pokemon like that. So I do feel that going forward, Splatoon 2 is still going to sell really well. It hasn't even been a year yet that the game has been on the market, and it's nearly at 5 million units sold. I think that it could possibly top out at 7 to 8 million units before the next Splatoon game comes in. And I think that Splatoon 3 is going to be where we really see some major improvements and additions to the franchise. I honestly think that they were just, I guess not rushing, but they wanted to make sure that they had a great Splatoon game within the first 6-7 months of the Nintendo Switch's launch, and they got that down. And I feel that Splatoon 3 is really where we're going to see like the big guns come out when it comes to Nintendo and the franchise of Splatoon. If you remember, I mean, I know this is kind of a little bit of a weird comparison, but Super Mario Bros, obviously the original was great. Super Mario Bros 2 in terms of US was completely weird and different. If you go to the original Japanese one, the Lost Levels, it was just harder. And then Super Mario Bros 3 was really, I think, Mario's super breakout game. Still to this day, many consider it to be one of the best games of all time, or the best game of all time. So I think Splatoon 3, whenever that game does drop, maybe in the next 2-3 years, that's going to be where we really see some of the biggest enhancements and improvements, because they've gotten 2 titles under their belt. It's a brand new franchise, and now they can really say, okay, this is what we need to do after gathering data, because really 2015 is not that long ago, and the fact that they're already where they are at this point is absolutely phenomenal, considering the competitiveness and the multiplayer shooters and everything like that. So sometimes it does pay off to be unique and different, and Nintendo definitely cashed in on that one. So what do you guys think about Splatoon 2 selling over 2 million units in Japan alone? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving into the next article here, we're going to get into Capcom's comments on the lack of Monster Hunter World on the Nintendo Switch, which he discussed again, and also the future of Monster Hunter on Nintendo platforms, and kind of how you can't believe what Capcom has to say when it comes to things, because Capcom has had a dedicated past, or history I should say, of lying to our faces when it comes to certain games coming to platforms, and even with the Nintendo Switch, with less than a year, has lied about things. So let's go ahead and get into this, and trust me, you guys will connect the dots as soon as I let you guys know about some of this information, because a lot of people forget about this stuff. Capcom's president, Sugimoto, talked about the lack of Monster Hunter on the Nintendo Switch, and here's what he had to say on the matter. Quote, "We recognize that there is such demand. However, considering various conditions, now it is difficult to put out Monster Hunter World for the Nintendo Switch. The Switch is different from other stationary machines, both in functions and users. Each game machine has its own characteristics, and our software makers need to make software adapted to it. How to adapt game titles made by our company, including Monster Hunter, is to be studied in the future." So essentially what he's saying here is various conditions are making it to where Monster Hunter World isn't going to come. And what could those various conditions be? Well, obviously there's the deal with Sony. We all know about that. Sony has a deal with Capcom in order for marketing and promotion and to make sure that Monster Hunter is exclusive to the PS4 in Japan. So that's one thing that is the various conditions. On top of that, this game was developed 5 years ago or whatever it was, 2013. That's when they started developing it. That was way before there was even a Switch dev kit out there. So that's another factor. And probably the last factor that they're talking about here, which he kind of alluded to in terms of adapting the game to certain hardware and characteristics and the users. I think that there's another Monster Hunter that's being developed for the Nintendo Switch, specifically in terms of adapting it for that system. And that's the reason why Double Cross isn't coming over, because they're going to sell us this new Monster Hunter. And just because he said Monster Hunter World doesn't come over, that doesn't mean that there won't be a Monster Hunter World Double Cross or a Monster Hunter World Portable G or some other thing on that. Capcom has done this before, where they say, we have no plans to do something, or this isn't going to come over, and then it comes over. Let me point you in the direction of less than a year ago, back I think in August, there was an article all over the internet on Go Nintendo, many people pissed off. I think there was a -33 rating on Go Nintendo, and heck, RMC was even upset about it, saying that Capcom's relationship has soured over Mega Man the Legacy Collection, or Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, not coming to the Nintendo Switch. Capcom flat out said back then in this article, August, okay, and I'm gonna tell you guys other stuff that happened, that Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, we have no plans to release the game. People were mad, they're saying Capcom has given up on Switch, all sorts of stuff. And literally a few months later down the line, Capcom said, oh, we have this big event that's planned, lots of Mega Man that's going to be there. And then they announced that they're bringing over Mega Man Legacy Collection 1, Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, Mega Man X games, and Mega Man 11, all to the Nintendo Switch in addition to other platforms. And they had a bunch of big YouTubers over there talking about it. So you're trying to tell me from August to December, they planned all of those Mega Man games in that time period, because they said back then, we have no plans at the time. We have no plans, and everyone said, oh, well, it's not coming. They lied. They absolutely lied to their faces. They did have plans. They were making plans, because there's no way they turned all that around in that short of a time period. There's no way. They had plans to do it, but they just lied to our faces. So I'm not saying that he's lying here. You shouldn't take what they say completely at face value, because they've proved over and over that they are liars. Heck, even with Street Fighter, they did say, oh, well, we're not planning to do extra editions like the Super Street Fighter or anything like that with Street Fighter 5, right? Okay, Street Fighter Arcade Edition came out. Obviously, it's a free update for those who already have the game, but they did say that they're not planning to do that, and they actually did do that. So there have been multiple times where Capcom just flat out lies about certain things. So I'm not taking what they say at face value anymore. I'm just gonna say, let's wait and see, because there's just been too many situations to where they've lied, or they've been untruthful, or they've been very coy or somewhat condescending. So yeah, I'm not really going to take too much into it. We'll see what happens. But there was the rumor that originally talked about Monster Hunter World coming to the PlayStation 4 and them having an exclusive deal. That same person did also say that Capcom is working on an exclusive Monster Hunter when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. So I personally feel that's what's going to happen, and we could see an announcement maybe later this year or early next year. We'll have to wait and see on it. So what do you guys think about this whole Capcom and Monster Hunter deal? What are your thoughts on the matter in terms of Capcom lying and what they've done before in the past? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, I'm moving into the last article here. It seems like Disney might be looking for a new partner in order to make Star Wars games after the debacle that we've seen with Star Wars Battlefront 1 and Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, this was a report. Check out the link in the description below. It's not anything that's fact or guaranteed, but according to this report, Ubisoft and Activision are two different game developers that Disney has been going to in order to potentially get the license over there. Now, some people might even say, like, oh, well, there's an exclusive contract or something, but in these big contracts with these companies, there's always a little bit of an out, especially if you can prove that there has been damage to the brand. And I think that Star Wars has definitely been damaged, and the sales have not been as high as they should be. Star Wars should be at 20 million sold at this point, guys, with the movie and everything, and 100 million install base plus when it comes to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. There should be no reason why that this game doesn't sell. Star Wars Battlefront 2 doesn't sell 20 million units even at this point. There's just too many users out there. There's too many Star Wars nerds out there. Heck, I was even looking at getting a PC copy, but they completely ruined that, or any chance of me doing that. The fact that Super Mario Odyssey can sell 9 million units and be anywhere near this game on the Switch exclusive stall base is preposterous. It's absolutely preposterous for this franchise, and I think Disney would do really good if they're able to get Ubisoft or Activision or a developer that's more competent on the Star Wars brand, because EA, in terms of Star Wars, has shown that they are incompetent in dealing with the pressure and the type of franchise that Star Wars is. We've seen the games. We've got 2 games now, and both games have major issues when it comes to things, whether it's the lack of a single player or more content, or Star Wars Battlefront 2 with its lackluster single player, very short, and not very good progression system in the multiplayer. The graphics are just good. That's honestly the thing with that game. The graphics are just good, and there's okay shooting mechanics, but the progression isn't very good. The game is nowhere near the quality of the franchise and lives up to what Star Wars has done before. The Battlefront games before on the PS2 were better than these newer games here. So I honestly feel that Star Wars really needs to go to someone else. I don't know about Activision. I mean, they do okay with Call of Duty and stuff like that, so maybe you can get one of those teams to make it. But I do feel that maybe Ubisoft would be a great fit, because Ubisoft is known with their bigger games to put a lot of content in those games. And so is Activision somewhat. I guess Destiny 2 and Destiny 1 might not be good examples of that, but Call of Duty definitely has quite a number of content, and people are usually happy with the multiplayers in that game in terms of progression systems. But Ubisoft is also known to put a lot of content into their multiplayer, and progression systems are a little bit better. They have a few missteps here and there for Honor and stuff like that, but for the most part, they've been pretty good. So I think that if they can get Ubisoft or Activision or a developer that's more competent, that can be up to the task of making a Star Wars game, that I'd be completely down with that. Because while I'm not a big Star Wars nerd, or anything like that, I do like playing the games. I've played KOTOR, I've played the Battlefront games, I played Jedi Outcast, I've played Rogue Squadron, I've played all the old Star Wars games, and I generally like them, but there's just too many flaws with these EA games, and they've shown that they're not competent enough. So I'm hoping that this report turns out to be true. It's a report on there, but it's more of a rumor-ish, just because he said that he's heard that they're kind of shopping it and seeing who else that they can get. EA has stubbornly said that they're not going to be supporting the Nintendo Switch at this point. Now that could change, but they just said, oh, we're going to wait and see. Why would you not want to have Star Wars on the Nintendo Switch, one of the most popular platforms out there? Heck, there are people bringing their Nintendo Switches to the Star Wars movie last year. So I do feel that if Disney can get out of this contract and find someone else like Ubisoft or Activision, I would definitely pull the trigger on that one, because EA has shown that they're just not competent enough to make a Star Wars game that the majority are going to like and respect. So what do you guys think about this? Would you like to see Star Wars handed off to a different company? Who would you like to see make Star Wars games in the future? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon and YouTube Live gaming page. Consider supporting PlayerEssence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. We are officially partnered with Twitch as an affiliate, so check out our Twitch channel if you do like watching live streams on there. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.